at him, I don't have any year one expectations. And I just mean it from this angle. If you look at Robert Saleh, I want to bring this up. In 2017, the Niners ranked 29th in PFF overall defense. In 2018, they ranked 32nd in overall defensive grade, right? They struggled so much his first few years. And then even in 2020, looking at all the grades that PFF had, he ranked top 10 in every single category except for pass rush, which is so interesting to me. But I think for me, I don't have huge year one expectations for DeMeco Ryans. And especially when you're looking up and down this roster, I just don't think they're as deep as they are, especially in the last few years. You know, they had such a deeper defensive line in the past few years than they do now. Really, their only true edge defenders are going to be Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and Samson Ebukam. That scares me. But that being said, I think DeMeco Ryans should have a top 15 to top 20 or top 15 to top 20 defense in the league when it's all said and done at the end of this year.
Yeah, my expectations, I'll say this, I have expectations for the defense.
Right.
And so my expectations for DeMeco Ryans, I'll just represent that by what I believe in this defense, to how this defense should produce. I'll say this. Robert Saleh inherited a defense. You just made a point about our edge pass rushers. Nick Bosa is a stud. If healthy, he's a stud. I don't even want Eric Armstead. I want him to play, like a 5-tech on rushing downs. But on passing downs, I need him over a guard. Him and Greenlaw over a guard. I'll say this.
Well, and that's the preference, but they have to play. I mean,
you rotate Arden Key, Ebukam, and Jordan Willis, hopefully, on one side. And if those guys can be healthy, because we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, dude, freaking Saleh, you know who his cornerbacks were? Rashard Robinson and, like, a rookie, Akella Witherspoon. Like, he had no DBs. They got Sherman the next year. And then they had no pass rush, bro. It was like Cassius Marsh. He had Defoe and Armstead inside, right? Those guys are good. But those guys really needed edge pass rushers to unlock what they were destroying guards inside, but they were getting double teamed. It required a Nick Bosa and a D4 to really unlock that D line. And Saleh Ryans doesn't have that, but Ryans is a former linebacker. He has 2 stud linebackers. I think the linebacking group is going to play phenomenally.
I think it's going to be one of – sorry, just to cut you off. I think it's going to be one of the more important positions because, Fred Warner is DeMeco Ryans' guy. I mean, they seem attached at the hip. So I think that's the type of thing that's going to help DeMeco Ryans have a lot of success in year one. And you know what? I think I like more than anything that they have a person in-house who they are comfortable with being their defensive coordinator. I remember when he was promoted to the position, there were all kinds of people saying, oh, why don't they get a Gus Bradley or someone like that to replace him, right? But then if you do that, you don't have someone who's comfortable with your players, who knows what their tendencies are, who knows the style they want to play in. So to me, DeMeco Ryans makes so much sense. And then if you look at some of the people behind him, some of the people on this defensive staff, I think he's set up for so much success with this team.
Yeah. I think they can be a top 2 players that have to stay healthy. Jason Verrett, Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
Your number one corner, your number one pass. If those guys stay healthy, this defense can be a top 10 defense. I think you're hoping for average. If you can get league average, if you can get 15, 16, this team can win 11 games to make the playoffs.
Absolutely.
But best case scenario, you have a top 8, top 10 defense. Again, those guys have to stay healthy. I want to see out of Greenlaw and Warner, just the last thing, I want to see them, the next step in their development, I want to see them get sacks. The way Devin White gets sacks, I think you're going to see more of a man blitz team. I think he's going to get I think Ryans is going to get a little bit more creative, and he's going to send those guys up the A gaps and B gaps right up the middle between the tackle and center, between the guard and center, mug those gaps, send them, on the edge, blitz Quan Williams out of the slot, blitz your safeties. You have big box, strong safeties like Tar and Hufanga. Send those guys on like delayed blitzes. I think he's going to get creative, but I think those linebackers, they're really fast. They're really good sideline to sideline in coverage. Now, if you add a pass rushing element to their games, I think that just increases their value, and this defense just gets better.